So these are my geography notes, and I just wanted to show you as to how I decided to summarize and revise geography. तो होता क्या है कि when we read geography, when we take a coaching or something, the notes which are provided to us are this thick, so it becomes very difficult for us to revise those things. So a solution to that problem is make notes and then summarize it in a book which is as small as this. It has roughly 70 to 80% content of what is being told in the class, but still I have written it so small, like the size of the characters which I used to write this notebook are so small that you can fit all of those details in this small copy. So it gives you this psychological confidence that even if you go on a walk, you can probably revise it very easily. So that's one thing. Secondly, when you're making the notes, there are some hacks that you can use. For example, at the start, I generally keep a page for teacher's corner, because when somebody teaches you, there will be two aspects to that teaching. First aspect would be the teacher tries to give you some philosophical ideas, some learnings from his life, so you can probably write those things. Then he will also tell you hacks as to how to prepare for CSE. So those are the things. Instead of distributing those things here and there, scattering it throughout your notes, it's better to compile them at one place. So that's why I made a teacher's corner. Then there is another thing which is special about teachers, like some teachers like to tell something about something about themselves, like their personal information, their educational qualification or something like that. They tend to use certain lines more often than not during their lectures, so you can probably write some lines like that. Apart from that, it's better to write few things about UPSC CSE as part of your notebook, so that you can revise them again and again. For example, what are the exams, when should we apply online for it, then planning of examination, marks of prelims, mains, what is the eligibility, then what are services in which you can go to, what are the list of optional subjects, number of questions from different areas in last few years, CSAT cutoff, what is the syllabus of UPSC. Okay, so these things. Then during the course of your study, you tend to realize that okay, probably I will use this strategy or that strategy. This sort of realization comes when you're attending the classes. So you should note those things down. So that's why I created a column called my strategy. Then what UPSC wants. Okay, here is the syllabus of this particular thing. And again, teacher's corner, whatever the teacher says to you, teacher's corner, lines. And from here on onwards, you can start preparing the notes. I tend to make it colorful, and I tend to make these small words. These can later act as a formula. Suppose I can revise it 2 to 3 times, then these short forms can act as formula. So I can even shorten these notebook in probably 20 or 30 pages, which will make it further more easy for me to revise those things. So these sort of formulae can also help. Actually, when you're shortening the information, it should not be just an abbreviation. There should also be a logical link behind it that will help you to retain that information. Further, if you can incorporate diagrams to remember these short forms, that will further enhance your retainability.